Oh my goodness, I really can't believe for a fact that this actually happened in chapter 1007 of One Piece manga. I'm extremely surprised, but I'm extremely excited at the very same time, and we need to talk about this. So hello and welcome to Undevisey, my name is Soham and today we are going to talk about One Piece chapter 1007. But before that, if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to our channel since I do weekly anime and manga related content. With that being said, let's begin the video. Now this was a pretty interesting chapter. Now obviously my review will cover the entirety of this chapter, but the first half is not the main thing. The most important part of this chapter was, in my opinion, the last part. Sure, the first part was really great and I was kind of not expecting things to happen in this particular manner, and I was pleasantly surprised with that as well. But in a very predictable manner, Chopper is able to save everyone in the very last moment, and he actually manages to stop Hyogoro's death wish as well because he has finally found a cure. This was a really nice bit of character moment in my opinion, and I was not expecting this awesome moment from the character of Chopper here. Even after all of this, even after the entirety of Wano, if Chopper's bounty still remains so low, then I will be really surprised at this joke. Chopper has finally found out the antidote and he uses this to save literally everyone, be it a friend or a foe. And this is in direct contrast to the ideological warfare of Queen, as Queen blatantly admits it in front of his very own crew that yes, all these soldiers from the Beast Pirates are expandable. He doesn't really care about a single one of them because the waiters are useless and the pleasures are useless at this moment. The only manner in which they would be helpful to the Beast Pirates if they actually became the Ice Demons. And as such, for him these soldiers are expandable and they can always be replaced. Obviously, the soldiers got very angry at this particular moment, and as a result of all the things that are happening here, they switch sides, and this is kind of inspired by the God D Usopp moment from Dressrosa, which is really nice in my opinion. And talking about Dressrosa, I think a very interesting thing has come up here in this chapter, and that is in regards to the naming schemes that we have been getting for the last couple of chapters. Because this chapter is called Tanuki-san, and prior to this chapter we got two chapters which were dedicated to Luffy and Robin. Now if you are able to understand this particular thing, then it is basically following the manner in which Kuma had sent the crew of the Straw Hats from the Sabaody Island. It started with Luffy, then it was Nico Robin, then it was Chopper, Nami, Frankie, Sanji, Usopp, Brook and lastly Zoro. If this is actually the case which is being followed here in a reverse manner, then it will end with Zoro, and as such that will directly lead us to the final battle at the rooftop. So I think this is a very good prediction or a theory at this moment, especially considering the things that are at play here. Moreover, Marco is absolutely impressed by the prowess of Chopper here and he congratulates him in a manner, and he tells him that now that you have finally found out this antidote, you are basically free for the counterattack. And as such, Marco holds down Queen and Chopper uses his monster form and absolutely slams into Queen. This was a very unexpected moment and literally everyone is shocked with this, and this was really amazing. I didn't really knew that I wanted a Chopper centric chapter in such a long time, but in the meantime we have a cut back to the CP0 room who are talking about the stuff that happened in relation to Vegapunk and Punk Hazard, and they are basically referencing the artificial slime which Momonosuke had eventually acquired. And all of this is being juxtaposition while the stuff is happening between Momonosuke and Yamato, because Momonosuke shouts that he is not powerful at all, he is weak and everything, and accidentally he transforms into his dragon form and slips out of Yamato's shirt. I think there is definitely more at play here. I do not really know if I'll be happy to see a more adult version of Momonosuke at this point because of the powers of someone like Shinobu or Toki, but there's a very high indication that something like that is eventually going to happen. And there is an obvious reference to the quote-unquote failed experiment here. But after all of this, we finally come to the most important part of this chapter, and that is in regards to the Red Scabbards, because their wounds have been finally treated here. Kawamatsu, Kinemon, all of them are standing up, and Kawamatsu says that this must be a dream, this cannot be possible, because what he saw in front of him was absolutely mind-boggling, mind-destroying, and I don't even really have words to describe what is going on here, because the mystery person in silhouette is finally revealed here, and he is none other than Kozuki Oden. Yes, the mystery person is revealed to be Kozuki Oden, who is looking young and is looking exactly like the Oden from the 20 years past before he had actually died. Moreover, he is having two katana, but it's not the same as Enma and Ameno Habikara. And he's just laughing here, telling that you all have grown so old. And the Red Scabbards are absolutely mind-boggled here and they are saying, what? Oden-sama? How is that even possible? This is huge. Literally, I was not expecting this. A couple of weeks back, I obviously made the video in relation to who exactly is this character, who exactly is this mystery silhouette person. I had my theories of this either being Toki or Hiyori, but this is totally different. This is unexpected, and this is basically not something anyone would have actually predicted. But even then, I have my doubts over this particular thing because of two major reasons. First of all, we know for a fact that Odin actually died at the hands of Kaido. That is 100% fact that cannot be changed. And I don't really think that Oda will actually bring someone back to life who is actually dead. He had confirmed this particular thing a couple of years back in some sort of an interview in relation to the Naruto series. So I don't really think that is actually the case here. Moreover, in that particular chapter, we saw that there was a person who was healing the wounds of the red scabbards, and this person was really small. This person was even smaller than Kinemon, and we know for a fact that Odin is actually taller than even Kinemon. So that really does not make any sense in my opinion. Now, even after all of that, I have 2 or 3 major theories in this particular regard, and hear me out for that one. Obviously, you can have your own opinions in this particular matter, and you can obviously agree or disagree with my opinions as well. But I think that it can be 3 of the possible outcomes. 3 wacky outcomes for sure, but 3 outcomes nonetheless. The first one is, it was indeed Hiyori, but along with her there was another person who was none other than Onimaru or Gyukimaru, the fox from Ringo who was able to shapeshift. I think that can be the case here, but I'm not 100% sure as to why exactly this character will come to aid the Scabbards. And even more than that, why would Hiyori even try to hide at this particular moment? The second person, however, is none other than Kanjuro. Yes, he was quote-unquote killed at this moment, but I don't really think his character arc has finished at this very moment. There's a very high chance that he might actually had survived this, and maybe he's just trying to repent for the sins that he had committed, and here he has actually made a drawing of Odin. That can very much be the case here. And the third one is actually the wackiest theory out of all the 3 of them, and that is in relation to the awakened powers of the Toki Toki no Mi, the Paramecia type devil fruit of Kozuki Toki. It might be very much possible that it is a part of her awakened devil fruit, and she's kind of transporting the memories of Odin as such. It's not actually the real self of Odin, but rather this is the memory or the ghost of Odin in a way. Now for this particular theory, we have to go back to the earlier chapters of Wano, especially during the Odin castle scenes. At that moment, the townspeople were telling that they had been seeing ghosts for a really long time now. We all initially thought that this was just a joke in regards to the character of Brook, but what if there is more to all of this? What if all of this is influenced by Toki's devil fruit? Because there's a very high chance that Oda is not going to just forget this fruit, because this has a lot of different potentials in the world of One Piece. I think that this is a very interesting theory and it can actually be applied here, but still at this moment I really can't say for sure. But anyway, I'm almost a 99% sure here that this is not actually the real body of Odin. That really can't be happening here. Moreover, I don't really believe that this is someone like Katrina Devon or maybe even Bon Clay. That wouldn't really make sense in my opinion. Yeah, sure, Blackbeard can come to Wano, that has been a theory for a long time, but I really don't think that this will be the manner in which a crew like Blackbeard pirates will be introduced on Wano. I just don't think that is actually the case here. So what do you guys think about all of this? Please mention your thoughts in the comment section below. So that's it for today guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like it, share it with your friends and subscribe to the channel for more. This is Wonder YZ and I'll see you soon in the next one.